officially announced what has been rumored for months at this point about purchasing Bellator. I mean, maybe not purchasing, but merging, similar to maybe WWE and UFC recently, but I think more in the vague the model of a purchase. But now it won't be Bellator is not going to disappear, as far as we know. The plan is for Bellator to still be one of the brands on the PFL umbrella, which includes PFL Europe, will soon include PFL Africa, has the Super Fight Series, which is the pay-per-views, the Challenger Series. So Bellator is going to be like Bellator International, I think, Fight Series.
So Bellator International Championship Series, I believe it's called.
Yeah. They're gonna have 8 events supposedly. These are gonna be like almost like Marvel Nights. It's gonna be outside of PFL continuity. It's not gonna be in the league format. It's gonna be just like Bellator's usual format of just putting together booking fights kind of thing. PFL and Bellator fighters will probably both be on it. PFL and Bellator fighters will be in the PFL. Another fascinating thing that Don Davis, the CEO of PFL, revealed yesterday is that Bellator is probably going to have its own TV deal. PFL is working on their own new TV deal. It's unclear if it's still going to be with ESPN. Maybe Bellator ends up on something like CW, because CW's been trying to get a lot of like unique sports kind of content and stuff like that. So it's a fascinating thing. PFL now has a roster. It can't necessarily compete with the UFC, but this is the closest we've seen to any roster being as good as the UFC, arguably since maybe Pride. If you're a Strikeforce fan, maybe it's the Strikeforce and stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions that comes out of this. And the first one I wanted to ask you is this the best result possible? Because we talked about this a few weeks ago on the show, and I talked about it with Dean Thomas recently. Is this kind of the best possible result for all involved? Especially, we've dealt with Bellator staff, great people. We found out that they only had 21 people working on the Bellator staff, 52 work in PFLs. That's how amazing the Bellator staff is, that they had this kind of organization that we've been to events officially run with 21 people, like 200 fighters. It's nuts. But is this like the best case scenario? Bellator's kind of sticking around, going to be a brand of the PFL, or just based off your knowledge and experience in MMA, this is probably going to be a 1-year tryout, and in the end, it'll just all be PFL.
I think this is going to be a 1-year tryout, but before I get into that, I'll give another shout out to Bellator staff, like 21 people like running that organization, and I've been to many Bellator events, and I understand now why like Danny Brenner was running around like a chicken with his head cut off on fight night. Why he was just scrambling back and forth, and because hey, it was like him and like 4 of the people that were working that night. So shout out to them, man. They did a fantastic job, and hopefully they'll continue to do a fantastic job, as I believe they are not actually losing their jobs. Like the PFL, Don Davis has stated that he intends on keeping everybody if they remain to stay, and hopefully their jobs and their paychecks are stable. But I guess this is the best case scenario, and I even say that with that year trial period, because they have a unique opportunity here. For PFL has now this new injection of talent that's at their disposal. You've got your tournament set up, still going on. Their tournament right now is going to conclude this Friday. So you got the tournament still going on, and now you have all these fighters for these one-offs, and you can trade and mix and match and whatnot. So you've got a year to see which model works best for you. You've got a year to test things out. And they're putting on, from my understanding of the press releases, they're putting on the best cards they possibly can with Bellator, because it's going to be only 8 fights, 8 events for the year, and each event is supposed to have 2 title fights at the top. So they're putting their best foot forward. And you think about the talent that's going to be infused in there. If they pull some PFL guys and to fill out some of the undercards, and maybe we can see a Bellator guy fight a PFL guy in different spots. I know they were planning on like some mega fight event as well. So this is, entertainment wise, I think this is the best case scenario for the business. We'll see. I think this is the best case scenario you can expect in a situation like this, because you look at every time a major promotion has been absorbed into another, people lose their jobs. Some fighters get kind of left out in the wilderness, and the pieces get picked up eventually. We at least have a year before the pieces really seem like they need to get picked up. So I'll take it, I guess.